Yeah, about the new setting, it's nothing permanent or anything. I'm just filming here because, well, this is my girlfriend's house, and her family's on a vacation in Death Valley for the weekend, and they asked me to take care of her dog, who's resting over there somewhere. So, I felt like it doesn't matter, I should get my thoughts on this show out of the way. Ah, I'm excited. Marvel's Daredevil. Marvel's first TV show on Netflix. It's their third TV show in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. However, it's their first one to be focused on an actual costumed hero, one of their actual superhero characters. And it's one of their darkest ones, too. Developed by Drew Goddard, this show follows the character of Matthew Murdock. When Matthew was a little boy, he was blinded when he saved an old man from getting run over by a truck full of toxic chemicals. Matt was infected with the chemicals in his eyes, causing him to not only go blind, but have all of his senses heightened. He was since trained to use his senses to create a personal radar. You know, it's like spider sense, except he can actually see, or Spider-Man, he just knows something dangerous is about to happen, but he doesn't necessarily know what. Matt grows up to become a lawyer, by day that is. He gets together with his best friend Foggy Nelson to start up a law firm in Hell's Kitchen, the place where Matt grew up. That way they can help innocent clients in a very bad part of New York, especially a post-Avengers alien invasion New York. However, by night, he dresses up in a mask that completely covers up his eyes and a dark black outfit and goes out and fights crime. Now, before I get on with my thoughts on the show, I just want to get this out of the way. I have not seen the Mark Steven Johnson movie starring Ben Affleck. At the time it came out, I was in first grade and I was in Spider-Man mode, and to be honest, I thought Daredevil looked a lot like Batman, and you know what? I didn't care. And I didn't bother seeing the movie. But from what I hear, the movie sucks, and this show is way better. And you know what? This show's pretty good, so if the movie's not as good as this show, then why should I care to watch it? Marvel's Daredevil is an excellent television show. You know how DC fanboys like to say that their source material is meant to be edgier, hence the Dark Knight trilogy, hence Man of Steel, hence Arrow, you know, it's darker, it's edgier, because that means it's realistic, and that means it's better. The Dark Knight trilogy was good, not because it was a darker take on Batman than Batman and Robin, which isn't that hard to do. They were great movies because they had really well-structured plots in the way that only Christopher Nolan could write them. They weren't good because they were dark. This is something that Man of Steel got wrong. This is something that Arrow gets wrong as well, but is a lot more graceful about it than Man of Steel. That's a conversation for another time. This show is dark, it's gritty, but the thing is, this show acts like it's not imitating the dark and grittiness. It was born to be dark and gritty. One of the reasons because it's directed so well. The lighting feels somewhat more natural, not necessarily a dimmed color correction. Everything feels realistic. The fighting feels realistic. The violence, the tone, everything feels real, very believable. Not just dark, it's also believable, and that's something people always get wrong with dark, gritty reboots. Charlie Cox gives a great nuanced performance as Matt Murdock, slash Daredevil. And the rest of the cast holds up pretty well on this show, particularly Vincent D'Onofrio, who makes his turn as Wilson Fisk, who in the comics everyone knows as the kingpin of crime. His performance on the show is really good. It's really good, but also because he's playing a really interesting character. More interesting than his take in the comics, in my opinion. I mean, they've done something really cool with his character. Yes, he is a big, hulking criminal, menacing in that he is at the top of the underground crime world, but also a very physical menace. But also, he's emotionally insecure inside. And they explore this more and more, to the point where he has a romantic relationship with Vanessa Marianna, who everyone knows is going to become Vanessa Fisk in the comics. You can tell that he genuinely loves her. That he's not some big blowhard man, like he has emotions inside. And when he speaks cordially, there's something about the way he talks that makes you feel like there's a rage inside him. There's something inside him, and you don't want to mess with him because he could just pop, and you could end up with a snapped neck, a bludgeoned face, or he can slam a car door into you so many times until your head finally gets squished so much that it'll separate from the rest of your body. That does happen on this show, and it's kind of gruesome. But not in a exploitive Game of Thrones Walking Dead type of gruesome. As for the black outfit that Murdock wears, yes, that's what he wears in this show. He doesn't wear his red outfit. Yet. Just be patient on this one. Think of this entire first season as an origin story. Like, this entire 13-part season is one elaborate origin story for Matt Murdock becoming the superhero known as Daredevil. He's still figuring his ways out. So be patient on that red costume. It's coming. I have to give very strong pointers to the stunt fighting on this show. The stunt fighting is amazing. I knew that I was going to get great stunt fighting from the reviews and stuff. Everyone was saying, oh my gosh, the stunt fighting is fantastic. It's what makes the show the best superhero show on TV. But then I watched the end, the final scene of episode 2, Cutman, and it was like watching a martial arts movie made in Asia. It took place in a hallway. It was one shot, one smooth shot in a hallway that moved, and you just see the Daredevil beating the crap out of this mob just so he can rescue a kid. Oh, it was amazing to watch. I had to I could barely blink when watching it. It was just so amazing. I remember thinking to myself, you rarely see good fighting like this in American movies, let alone television. Usually they jerk the camera and then they cut like crazy. It's to where you can't even see like the punches connect. It's like the punch comes close and then the next shot, You know what, to explain it better, I'll just put a link right here for a video by film reviewer Chris Stuckman talking about this. Because it's something that most American movies do, but it's something that this show doesn't do. Or at the very least, it'll have cuts, but it won't shake up the camera too much to the point where you can't tell what the hell is going on. And sometimes you can get a nice shot with like that could squeeze in 4 or 5 hits in there that actually connect. To sum it all up, even though Daredevil takes place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the universe of the Avengers movies and stuff. I mean, it actually takes place specifically after the events of the first Avengers movie, since they make references to the Battle of New York and how it has affected Hell's Kitchen. You know, they're talking about this like it's their 9/11, which is something we've been noticing with the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies post-Avengers. Despite the fact it takes place in this universe, it feels like a whole different world. Like first of all, you don't have to watch any of the movies to understand the events that happened in this show, other than an attack happened in New York. They don't even say it was aliens that did it. They just say an attack happened. That's okay, because this show is here to show you that Hell's Kitchen is a completely whole world of its own. And this series is primed to explore that amazing dark world that is Hell's Kitchen, New York, at least in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So in conclusion, Marvel does it right with their new Daredevil series on Netflix. Marvel's Daredevil is a hit. It's got to be one of my favorite shows I've seen this television season, the 2014-2015 television season. It's very well executed, and I'm excited to see what happens in Season 2. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.